Hey guys, it's Stanky here again. Just doing a replay analysis for this Dazzle player. He's a 3.2k player from the Learn Dota 2 subreddit. Also, I picked up a new microphone for you guys that was suggesting that I get a new one, so we'll try out this blue snowball, see how that works. But anyway, let's tuck into it. He said he was a bit frustrated at the Shadow Fiend pick, but hey, Shadow Fiend's a good hero. He's just not quite as popular in this meta because he can't farm jungle stacks. But let's see what you did. I don't know if you gave him any tangos. I mean, hey, like if you want to be starting to play aiming to play at a high level, you should just give at least one, and then ask the Winter Wyvern to give the other one to your mid player. It really does help them out. To get a faster bottle, and then they can also buy a salve, so they can still get like the Wraith Band and a couple of branches with your tangos, and then having a little bit of gold. They still have like 50 left over to buy a salve quickly if they need it early. The risk about placing this ward, it's good that you're out really early in the lanes, it's good, but that if someone's standing up here, which is a very common place to stand pre-rune, they'll see you walk up and place this ward and it'll just get instantly de-warded. So I don't really recommend placing that ward. If you are going to do that, I'd prefer you stood here and then just placed this ward. Or if you go as a team and you push right up here, and so that you actually can see the high ground, and then you can like place it here or here on the way back. The other thing about it is that it actually goes quite far past the rune, so if you place it more, you can actually see when you go to put it down, you can see where the circle goes up to, but the rune's here and you don't need to see all this stuff past it. So it's much more valuable to actually be able to see this part of the mid lane. So if you shift it down a little bit more to like here, I think is where it is, still sees this rune and also sees a bit more of the mid lane. But yeah, I'd recommend placing it on your side of the hill, just because you can still see these rotations and the rune, but you're less likely to have them see you placing it. Or if it's a matchup where you value high ground vision, you can just pop it right here, and you don't get rune vision, but that's fine. Also, you should be closer to your team here, so you should be looking around. You've got a spec who's looking to go for the rune. There's no reason for you to be positioned all the way back here. You should be standing up here with like starting to get ready to contest the rune, because if he gets engaged on here, which he shouldn't be doing anyway, but if he does and you guys want to be contesting this rune, you need to be much closer. So he's almost dead before you can even get your spells off. Wow, he actually slipped him when he was about to die. That's really weird. Just saved his life. But yeah, so you gotta stick with your team and be closer to the rune. Here you should be going straight to lane, so you shouldn't be following around here. You should be coming down this way and looking to find their enemy support and start trading with them, because you don't know who their offlane is going to be in this matchup, because it's kind of a atypical draft. So I'd expect the like TA to be mid and the anti-mage to be safe lane. So then what's the invoker going to do? I guess he's going to have to come top, and then like, because none of these really jungle very well, and there's probably going to be a dual lane with these two, which is actually what's happened, but none of these are particularly good solo offlaners except maybe Veno. But then what's the invoker going to do? So it's reasonably likely that you're going to have a dual support lane. The other benefit about coming here is this guy goes to pull this lane straight away, and if you're here you can disrupt this pull, which is much more important than getting this pull off, because if this is going to kill more of your creep wave than this is going to kill probably. And then what's he actually doing there? He didn't even pull it, he just sort of hit it. But anyway, you want to start trading with the support, and also you want to help start attacking this invoker from the trees and from in lane, and healing your spec. When he grows up to hit him, you can heal bomb. I know you're stack pulling and that's fine, but like you don't need to yet, right? Like what you need to be helping support your spec in his early farm, so that he doesn't lose all of his regen in the first minute and a half of the game. And if your lane does push out, then you can pull. It's going to be a lot of contesting over these pulls in this lane, because these guys are going to try to do this and pull as well, but you should be over here helping get XP. You shouldn't stack straight away assuming that you're going to have to pull the lane. It's kind of greedy and is more about looking at getting your own farm than it is about helping your safe lane get the most out of the lane and trying to deny them as much experience as possible. In a dual lane, you're looking to you're not looking to win the lane straight away and try to kill them. You're looking to kind of, like, Spec's not the best laner, but you're looking to try to keep him alive and get him as much farm as possible. And if you can keep the lane here and he can just pull creeps towards your tower and last hit them, then that's ideal. If you pull them in too far and then your lane pushes out, then you can pull this big camp up here in this direction, and then if you pull and stack, then it'll deny that whole wave. But you can pull this and then pull that through to there. But you should always think why you're pulling the lane. Don't just go straight and stack. It's just about never necessary, because the lane is always going to be in equilibrium. So your first move as a support when you get to lane shouldn't be to go stack the small camp. So now you're not actually watching what's happening to your Spec here, but if you were, he's on your camera you don't even see what's happening, but he's hanging around under the tower here, which he's tanking creep damage now because you pulled this wave, right? So that's actually stuffed up his wave. He doesn't have a stout or anything, so he's taking a lot of damage under tower, and now he's going to try to get these last hits, which he shouldn't have done. He should have just drawn creep aggro and pulled the wave back here. But worse players are going to make these kind of mistakes when you put them under pressure like this, and this is a result of you pulling this wave. He shouldn't have made that decision. Like I said, he should have pulled them back, but you should also be watching to see what happens. If you started moving over now, you could start healing him and keeping him alive and trading with the Bane and Invoker once they start attacking the Spec. But you're a little late. You get the heal off, and luckily he actually survives. If I remember, I watched a little bit of this replay before. But yeah, he jukes through the trees. Also here, you should be keeping in mind that you're nearly level 2. And if you can tack experience from one of these creeps that's going to die, then you can hit level 2 and you'll have Grave. So I think you're out of range of both of those creeps when they die, so you don't level up. But if you were cognizant of that, you could have maybe run down here. So you're at 195, you don't get that one, and you don't get that one either. Yeah, so you don't get either of those creeps. Or this one. So you're out of experience range. If you did pick that up, then you'd have Grave, which turns out you didn't need, but it's just something to think about when you're that close to leveling. Now obviously you're just trying to get as many last shots under the tower as you can, and right there you should pop a clarity straight away. You've got 2 of them in lane, you've used most of your mana, and you want to use it as soon as they can't see you, or as soon as you're in a position where you're not going to get hit by creeps or enemies. If you wait till their creeps die, then you can pop it out of vision so they don't instantly know to come try cancel it. And it's going to be hard for you to contest farm 2v1 here once the wave pushes out, so you can be sitting here regening with your clarity and trying to just get whatever last hits you can. That's good weak creep aggro pulling. So you need to be thinking about getting Flying Courier soon at 3 minutes. I normally put it on my quick buy. You've also got enough money for boots as well, so I'd be looking to pick up the Courier, and you're probably not going to get to the side shop anytime soon to buy your boots, so I'd probably be buying Flying and getting the boots and chucking it on the Courier, and then waiting. And you got a Waters. You picked up a Ward. Nah, see, don't go Wand. I don't know. Anyway, it's not terrible, but I would have definitely gone boots over wand. And what I also would have done is checked whether the mid needed the bottle, like either asked them on voice chat if he needed the courier, sorry, and he needs his boots in there in base. So if what he could have done is he could have run the bottle out to himself, got his boots, or if he just put the boots on there, you could have run out the ward to yourself. And then sent it back mid, and he could get his boots and then send his empty bottle back to base to bottle crow. But instead you're using up the courier, and you're very low in the priority of who should be getting the courier at 3 minutes into the game. The first priority is mid if he needs to bottle crow or get bottle or boots. Like, all of these things can make the timings of them, if they're slightly out, can make the difference between winning and losing your lane in the mid lane. The second priority is the safe laner generally, if they need to pick up items like this, like Aquila, like things that they can't buy from the side shop, Aquila, Urn, that sort of thing, like these early items, magic wands, boots, that sort of thing. And then maybe the off laner might need to ferry himself some regen, but that's pretty rare. Generally they'll just go back to base or go farm this camp. So I think that's just a little bit inefficient courier usage, and it's meaning, yeah, your Shadow Fiend is struggling a little bit from that. Like, he could have bottle crowed in this time and have his boots now. And if you're not placing the ward for the next 2 minutes, because you've already got Rune Vision here for a wee while, it's essentially just a waste of a courier run. So again, like, thinking about why you're doing things, like thinking about why you're pulling, thinking about why you're bringing yourself out the observer ward, you know, not just sort of doing things because you can. This is not really a ward I would recommend placing at all. I know it's sort of thinking maybe it helps you see this pull if they go to pull that lane, but yeah, I'll be much. You can see if the TA is rotating top with this, and you're much better to try to get it down here, or sometimes you can even place it. Some people place it behind this tree, because then you can see if someone TPs to this tower to come and help farm help attack the safe lane carry. But generally I don't actually place this ward too early either, or this one. I place it once I've secured my lane for my carry and I want to leave him and go roaming. If you're planning on just staying and being with him the whole time, it doesn't matter if someone comes, because you can just grave him. If you're going to be staying in the lane with him a lot and just pulling and TPing to help other lanes when they get dove, then I would just be chucking that ward, like coming down and, you know, placing it here or something, keeping Rune Vision up for the Shadow Fiend to watch for rotations, because they've got these two side lane supports, so like a Bane or an Invoker can quite easily rotate down through mid and gank your gank Shadow Fiend, who's quite susceptible to early ganks. The other option is to try to get some vision over this ancient camp, because TA is well, I don't know about in your level of games, but in mine, you're pretty much always going to be stacking ancients, so you can block that, or you can just place one here is quite good, because then you get vision both of when the offlane, if the offlane goes to farm this camp, or if the TA starts stacking this camp, you can go contest it, or just know how much it's stacked. And then look for those kills, you know, with spec ultis, and Nyx can go hunting for them and that sort of thing. Whereas this, you think about what the ward here would do compared to what this ward does, you know. But this time of the game, you have to assume that they have some vision around the camps, and they do. So you really need to be placing it in smoke. So if you can get a smoke off and like rotate through, place that ward, and then use that to go gank middle or something, then that would be sort of the way I'd do it. It's a bit less effective on Dazzle because he's not much of a ganker, but you've gone 1 point in poison touch, so that might help out a little bit with a gank. I generally avoid poison touch unless I need it. I try to just get these like an extra point in Shallow Grave for the range increase. There's different ways to play Dazzle. I definitely think you should max Shadow Wave first. Some people will put a lot of points in Poison Touch early, which, and then some will go completely heavy in Shadow Wave and Shallow Grave. You'll see some like support players, like the pros, won't actually put any points in Poison Touch for a good chunk of the game. I think I've actually seen, was it, I don't know, might have been PPD or Puppy or someone, just like they won't go stats over Poison Touch sometimes, but sometimes it's worth picking up in the early laning phase if you're going to be doing more harassing than you're going to be doing defending. If your lane's contested, it's normally better to go Shadow Wave, because you can heal bomb yourself and your carry to keep yourself topped off, but then also do damage to them. Whereas if you're just 1v1 trading with an offlaner, it's probably better to have a point or two in Poison Touch, so you can drop the Poison Touch on them and then attack them a few times. So I guess you're looking for a courier snipe here, or maybe a gank middle. This is a really dangerous gank, because you're running through and taking so much tower damage to get there. And if they get one TP rotation, or even if he just actually turns and hits you, you'll die. If he had meld there, you die in like 2 hits. A much better way to gank is to actually come down here. Since these trees have been moved, you can stand right behind these trees here and not actually be seen in vision. And if you look at the vision that TA has, it's actually pretty poor at nighttime, so he can't see back past when he's downhill. You can't even see in this area, so you can come work your way down here, and even if you start running at him, you're not going to actually show up on his map until you get out to here, when he's on the low ground anyway. Whereas here, you reveal yourself way back here, and he can just run down this way, or he can get a TP in from Bane or a Veno, if either of these guys had TPs or were paying attention, you'd just be dead here. His TP's on cooldown. You've picked up your boots, that's good, so I guess you're looking to pick up mana boots now, or maybe an urn, or a medallion. Spec might want to go urn, so that's kind of where you need to communicate with your team. Anytime you buy urns, it's not really worth stacking them. Yeah, so he's going urn, so you probably want to go like mana boots into medallion, but you need to be focusing on getting some wards up now. I wouldn't go mech. Is that what you're building? Yeah, no, I don't like mech. It's just too much farm for a 5th position when you're this poor. You get it too late in the game for it to really help you, and I guess they've got some good AoE spells that you can counter with mech, like Feno's poison, that sort of thing, but oh, that's unfortunate that he decided to TP out right as you were coming. Oh, heal. Ah, were you trying to grave or heal there? Let's have a look. I think you might have been, either way, you were just about in heal range. It's really unfortunate. Something to think about as well is if he is further back here and you can't get to him, you might be able to bounce it off the wagon or something, but I'm pretty sure he was right next to it. That's just his fault for making a stupid play and TPing in vision, but it can be what happens when you go ganking on Dazzle in the early game. You're probably better just to sit and support your spec and make sure he gets some good farm early. He ultied back to lane. Did he just ulti to lane so that he didn't have to buy a TP? Man, sorry if I just blew in the microphone, but I feel for you guys playing support for people like this. That's embarrassing. Okay, well, next time buy a TP and don't blow your ultimate just to get back to lane if you're playing Spectre. Yeah, definitely don't do that. Alright, so where do you want to place this ward? You have a ward vision top. You want to be either getting it maybe like mid or on, yeah, I'd probably still be looking to get it around this this camp here. So maybe be looking, if you're looking to take top tower here with your team, then you could push down through here and then get it placed up in this spot. Again, this is a situation if you're looking to push tower where this ward would be a lot better than this one. Once you actually push the wave out, this ward becomes useless. You know, the further you can get wards towards the enemy base is generally better. Except for, you know, super early in the game, having a ward like here isn't always that useful. I'd rather have it, you know, like here. But there's a general concept. It's better to have a ward on this side of the river than it is to have on this side of the river. Same here, this side compared to this side. Once you start getting T1 towers, then it all sort of frame shifts a little bit towards their base, unless you're very behind. So you dropped a sentry mid, did you? Is that your sent? So that's a bit of a weird ward. So again, it doesn't, I don't think it sees the rune. Does it? Ooh, that's interesting. We'll see. We'll see. Wait till 10 minutes. I thought it had to be a little bit further up to see that rune, but I think it's... yeah, it's close. Either way, if you want to see around mid, just put it here. If you want to actually see the rune, I thought you had to put it a little further up. This is good pressure, but you need to back up now. That's too far. So when you... yeah, so you have to think about what's going to happen as you're pushing in like this. So this wave is all running past the tower here. It's all aggroed, and this guy isn't going to die. You're not going to kill him, right? And this wave, it's going to start getting past the tower. When this creep dies, you're going to be or gets out of range. You're the next closest target to the tower, so it's going to start attacking you, and you're going to take a lot of damage running back out of it. And you shouldn't have stopped there either, because you just took extra tower hits, even though you got your heal off earlier. Should have just pushed that wave out and then hit the tower a couple of times as while it was killing that creep, and then backed off again. Because you can attack the tower while the creep that the tower is attacking is dying. As soon as that creep dies, then it will switch targets.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So his Nexus gone top. He's looking for a kill. You're just pushing middle out. So you don't want to stand right on top of your Shadow Fiend ever. If you're attacking the wave here, you want to be standing maybe here, or you want to just be standing right back and being behind him. So if he gets gone, then you can get Grave off or heal off or whatever. That worked out, except you died to the anti-mage. Oh, did we see if that rune spawned?
Radiant structures are fortified.
Just shows it. Weird. Oh, did they de-ward you as well? Yeah, so they must have seen you place that ward. Or they saw you place this one. That's the other dangerous thing about placing these wards from standing here in the mid lane, is like, just like when you walked up and placed this one, if you walk up here and then you have a ward in your inventory, a good player is going to click on you, and if you take 2 steps here and then you take them back and you don't have a ward, they're going to know that you placed it somewhere in this area, right? So they're going to de-ward you. So you want to be trying to place these wards from, you know, coming down here or from smoke, or push the wave right out into the tower so that they don't have any vision of you here in the river. If there's creeps standing here and they can see you, and they see you leave and then come back, they're gonna know you roughly where you placed it. That was just unlucky. You got blinked on by an anti-mage. You didn't have vision. Let's speed this up a little bit. So you're back in the game. You're heading down bottom. You got a ward. So you want to be trying to. If you're going bottom to ward here, you really want to be pushing this tower out before you ward, probably. Like, generally at this time of the game, I know it's easy for me to see in retrospect, but these spots are very, very common to place wards in the mid game. This one is kind of weird. I don't know why they've placed both this ward and this. I thought they would have put that like more over here, because they can kind of see these rotations. So if you're coming up through here, you could drop a sentry to try to check for these, but you kind of need a bit better map control to do something with that. But if you can get a pick off here bottom with the Nyx here, I wouldn't be too aggressive because your Nyx is rotating, right? So your Nyx is coming down. So you've got to hit on him again. He's not dying here. You've got your thing on him, but it doesn't slow him enough to kill him, and he's still got refraction charges. So you should be being less aggressive because you're scaring off this anti-mage you can potentially, the Nyx can kill, right? If you just wait and play a little bit more chill, he's going to be able to come in and get maybe 1, maybe 2 kills. If that anti-mage had have blinked out a different way under the tower or something, then you're just going to lose the opportunity to kill him when the Nyx turns up. So sometimes patience is better than getting ham straight away.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack.
I think I'd prioritize getting like getting mana boots over getting magic wand, but maybe that's just me, because you kind of had a wee bit of mana. Heal, heal, heal. Nice. It's a big waste. So now's a good opportunity. You just had to push them out. You've had a good fight. I would have rotated through here, gone to the left. I need to go back to free cam. Instead of running down here and going over this way, I would have run through here, stood up on this high ground, and then placed a ward here to check for both these spots. Just while you've got this map advantage, you know, you've taken that map control by taking this fight, killing the... did you kill the Invoker bottom? Kill the anti-mage over here. Anyway, you want to go check that. So now if you try to run up from here and do it, you can't see up the hill, right? And you've sort of lost that timing window that you had. So this, yeah. This is dangerous. You want to do it as you're leaving, like I said. Walking up here, if they do have a ward, they're going to see you. So you want to come at it quickly, drop the scent, de-ward it, and you're gone. And unfortunately for you, it's sort of expired anyway. But it's very dangerous if your team's not around, because they're quite often going to have heroes farming the jungle in here. Going back to bottom. I guess that's the right decision. All this is just delaying your item progression, you know, these little mistakes you're making that are getting you killed in the early game. That's a really early grave. I would have healed there. I'll pop a heal here and then run down to the right so you get out of the burn path. And you healed him there, but it didn't bounce to you, I think. You were too far away for the bounce. Yeah, so you should get closer. Oh, and you could have dropped your sentry. Yeah, far out. So I don't know if you saw the Invoker disappear, but you've got to know that an Invoker potentially will Ghost Walk when you're going to kill him, right? So I don't know if you saw the animation even. So that's your sentry, so you saw him. He was invis the whole time? No, he wasn't. He used his thing. So I would have dropped the scent like here. Because he was very close to being killable. He could have just got one raise and a right click and killed him if you dropped a sentry. Oops. Let's speed this up a little bit. Spectre killed him. A random ultimate. Works out. So now you're looking to take the tower here, and then you want to be aiming to get up a very common wood that I like to place after no, not yet. So this is bad. So even though they don't have any heroes here, when you're pushing a tower like this, they might come to defend it, and you don't know if they are or not. I guess you've seen some of them on the map, but running in here is not safe, because if they're rotating from this lane to come defend this tower, who are they going to find? They're going to walk into a lone Dazzle with half health and you're just instantly dead. So what you want to do is and also if they come to fight your team, if they TP, you're stuck way the hell over here and you can't get a heal off or a grave off or an ultimate or anything. So it worked out because you got the tower for free, but there's no benefit to it. What you should do is take that tower, and then as this wave's pushing in and you're leaving, then you rotate through and then you place this ward. This is the ward I wanted you to place, but you just did it at the wrong time. It's fine. Go for the D ward. Oh, that's really poor. So if you don't know the mechanic behind that, when someone's Winter Wyvern ultied, none of these guys take any damage. So this Winter Wyvern just completely stopped the Shadowfiend ultimate from doing anything by using his ulti. That didn't used to work that way, but it happened in a new patch. So. Whoa. Okay, so there you're losing a lot of mana, you're tanking, you shouldn't be that close for a start. Your positioning needs to be a little better. So when you see this anti-mage, you need to back up here. Backing up over this way, not chasing after this kill, you leave that to your cause. And here you're just tanking way too many hits, you need to put some distance in between yourself and the hero and the anti-mage. So as soon as you're coming up to here and you see him, you want to back up a little bit, back up to here, your heal's up in a second, you can pop that again, heal your whole team. If he starts attacking you here, don't run back past them again, keep running down. Like, if you run all the way back past them, that's like another 3 or so attacks you're going to get off. You can run into the trees here and try to fog him a little bit, or you can just keep running down and away from him, splitting, getting distance from him. You want to kite melee heroes. If you just walk past them or stand near them for too long, you're just going to take way too much damage. And you're going to lose all your mana and get your team killed with the Nine Void. So they went from a reasonable team fight to a really bad one, and part of that was because of your positioning. Not all of it, but part of it. You want to be, you don't need to focus on trying to right click heroes, which seems to be what you're doing a little too much when you're like chasing these kills. Like you're chasing middle, you get your poison touch off on the TA and you're like diving here trying to get right clicks on him. Same here, you got it on TA and you're trying to dive him and want to chase him and right click. In these team fights especially, more so than in these little single engagements, especially in a team fight, you don't need to be focused on right clicking heroes. You need to be focused on getting your spells off and then getting to a safe place and then getting your spells off again and making sure you stay alive so that if one of your heroes gets gone on, you can get a grave off. Now you just need a TP, I think, but you're probably just going to die regardless. Yeah. If you manage to get your grave off like that and cold snap ends, then you can just TP. Otherwise, drop all your spells. Like your ultimate's only 40-second cooldown, so you can just drop your ulti on the Winter Wyvern, drop a heal, and hope that he can get out. But again, not sure why you and the Winter Wyvern were mid by yourselves across the river. I haven't been watching the Shadowfiend play a lot, but like this is just an example of when you see people complain about somebody else on their team. not being very good or being like, oh, he picked Shadow Fiend, we're going to lose. But then how many mistakes have I pointed out this game that you've made so far, right? Like, you always need to turn the microscope on yourself a little bit and think about what you could have done better. And I know sometimes it's hard because if you don't know what to look for, you might not see it, but that's kind of the reason I do these videos, is to help point it out to people. So you're just respawning, coming back out to lane. Middle's okay, he's going to shove that lane and then hit bottom, but you don't want to stay there for too long. Yeah. So this is dangerous. Why were you going there? So you in a Winter Wyvern have found a Bane. So what's going to happen here? He's running aggressively at you. That means that he wants to fight. And if he wants to fight, that means he probably has heroes around him. And you've seen the TA middle. This is a very dangerous place for you to be. Your closest support is a Shadow Fiend, who's like quite a way away, and you have a very low spec that doesn't have ulti. So if two of you try to fight a Bane, one gets slept, and then it's a 1v1, and he has grip. Like, he can take a 2v1 very easily, especially when you don't have a lot of burst damage. That's just a little bit too cocky. Trying to get some good tower damage in, that's fine. So you're trying to make space here for spec, that's good, but now you're in a little bit of a dangerous position. You've made their whole team rotate here, there's 4 of them here, so now you say let's get out. This is not where you want to be engaging. You've made them move around the map. Now you go back and you farm mid, farm these Kents up, farm their jungle on the way out. You don't want to be looking to engage here, especially under their tower. You want to make them rotate, make them respond to you. Oh, that's super bold. He wheels himself. Okay. So let's watch what you did in the fight. Sorry, I'm busy watching other things. So you have a sentry down? You do. That's good. Sort of just died. See, what's that grave about? Just pop a heal. There's no need to grave there. He's at half health. And he's got Carapace up. He's clearly going to be safe, and he's nowhere near dying. And now your grave's on cooldown for 40 seconds and you can't use it for the rest of the fight. It's a big mistake. Get your poison touch off, that's good. God, Winter Wyvern Ultimate's like surprisingly good still. I thought it was so trash when I saw the new patch, but I don't think it's actually that bad against certain lineups. Like if they have an anti-mage or, TA, like these high damage dealing, physical damage dealing heroes, it can actually be quite strong. So here, again, you're diving. You don't need to be. It puts yourself a little at risk of stuff like this, like if he throws out some big AoE spells. You're going for all this right click and you're at the front of the fight. Drop your scent. Oh no. Wrong button. You don't want to be at the front of the fight. If they turn and engage on you, you're in a terrible position. Sorry, my computer's lagging a little bit. How are we going? Let's speed this up. This is going to be quite a long video if I don't keep it ticking along. So did you drop a ward on the way out there? Again, that's an example of just walking up in one of the most commonly, warded spots on the entire map, right here, around Roche Pit in the middle of the river, walking up and placing a ward like this. You just left this bottom lane and you had a really good opportunity to place some good wards. Like when you were leaving here, this fight, you can go any direction on the way out. You could have placed a ward here, you could have placed one here, you could have placed one like, here, any of these ward spots here again. Probably not there because they were dewarding around here, so that you think they might have a sentry. You could have placed one on the way out along this way, but you walked obviously back up and then came back and placed it again. Even if you're walking down and you sort of like shift click, you just place this and shift click to carry on moving, it can be quite subtle, and if they're not paying attention you might sneak in that even if they have vision. But when you walk straight up to a spot and walk straight back away, that's a common ward spot, you don't even have to click on the inventory. They can just see it on their map and they'll go, hey, I think the Dazzle probably just warded there. So it's sort of a subtle part of warding, but it's very important, because you only get a limited number of wards and you can't be wasting them, placing them obviously. Like you'll watch PPD when he wards, you know, like he'll do stuff like he'll come up, walking in over the trees here to place this ward instead of just walking up in the lane and placing it. He'll come in here or like go in here, walk up around this gap and then place it from fog, like behind this tree. He'll drop it here, you know, rather than a better ward would be here, but he'll just take this one because you can place it safely from fog. Or if the tower pushes in, then he might walk out a little bit and place it here, and then he won't walk back through this here. He'll go back through the fog again, come back out again. So keep in mind it's not where you're placing them, but how you're placing them. And if you have a sentry, is a huge mistake that I see people in my bracket make all the time. If you've got a sentry and you've got a ward, and you're gonna place the sentry there anyway, don't place the ward first. I'll see people walk up all the time to hills, like they'll walk up to here that they want a ward, and they'll place their obs ward, get vision, and then they'll drop their sentry, and they'll be like, oh look, the enemy team has a ward there. Now I'll de-ward it. But guess what? They just saw you place the observer ward on the hill. So now they're going to de-ward it. If you drop a sentry and there's nothing there, because sentries do give you vision in a small area for a short amount of time, you can see that they have a ward and de-ward it, and then you don't place the obs there because they're going to think you did, because you've de-warded theirs, and then they'll be like, hey shit, he just warded this. They'll come back and waste a sentry de-warding your sentry. You go place another ward in a different position, you know, like whatever, like down here, this area. Same concept with doing it here in the river. This guy's going builds from 6 months ago or a year ago. It's Blink Yule's shit. That's a much better grave. Much better grave. So now what you should be looking to do as well, after you get that grave off, you should be looking to use all your spells. So you've used your heal. Perfect. Waited a little bit, used your grave. And now your Spec's ulting, he's coming in. You want to be looking to run up and get a poison touch off on one of these guys. Like get it on the invoker and he's dead there, right? Or then you can come back in again and you're looking to heal as this is about to end. So your heal was up. Oh no, clicked the wrong button, Stanky. Your heal was up again for like a second. Sorry, I thought you had it up for a little bit longer than you did, but you should be spam clicking it. It's just a little bit unfortunate. So again, when you could have got a safe poison touch off, you didn't. And then here you run into, you know, the whole team's in here, and you run around on this side of the tree, giving yourself no good escape route, walk into the whole team to get a poison touch off on a Veno and put yourself at the front of the fight. You need to be at the back of the fight, healing your team and getting poison touches off when you can. That's your least priority, but when I was saying to place it, you had a good escape route, right? Like you were going to come in through the trees here, drop it on a guy that's here when the rest of the team is behind him, and then leave. When you come through here and they've got players here and you're trying to walk past their players and get a touch off on this guy, you're in a much more vulnerable position. Sorry, my voice is a bit dry.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Yep, camera's not moving. Good old Dota bugs. So this is how slow is this mech, right? It's 25 minutes. You've got arcane boots and you have a headdress. You're miles away from getting mech, by which point it's much less relevant. You'd be way better off having a medallion. Or you can start working on a like a ring of health into a whatever that new item is called. You know the one I mean. Aether Lens. It's very good on Dazzle. It allows you to be in much safer position while using all your spells. Good that you knew you can get Grave off now in his combo. It's a shame. So yeah, dead here for this fight, but they've used some of their spells. Sorry, my computer's having a few issues. So, a lot of what's going to happen now is just like late game ward decision making and directing your team. Like this is where you can start warding around Roshan, like you just did. It's good, and looking to direct your team to get a Rosh or direct your team to take a tower, or like deciding what your team needs to do in the situation during the game. And that just comes down to experience and whether you're comfortable actually doing that. But you're looking to just stay in safe spaces, try to keep ward vision up, because if you lose it and you lose map control, it's quite hard to get it back. If you're on a black map with all these towers down, and you can go around looking to place wards, and if you can't see where the enemy heroes are or where their wards are, you can end up just getting everything de-warded. And I'd say the game's like not that far in your favor. It's pretty even, yeah. So you're not really looking to like pick up a gem yet, I don't think. If you're quite far ahead and you have good map control, you should then sort of look to pick up a gem so that you can start de-warding all of their vision using the map control advantage you have. If you're constantly in this half of the map, you can use your gem to just take all their wards down and make them be stuck on a black map being scared. So that's probably too far. I wouldn't go any further in that lane. Wow, he's farming there. Okay. Are there any wards up that you can buy? There's one, but I'll cut you some slack. But yeah, pushing that lane out here and then looking to come down through here and then coming to look to place a ward like this would be really good now as well. Still with this stage again. This is a very good ward. Very good ward. Because at this time of the game, they're going to be looking to farm these because they can be quite safe. If like then Nyx is invading their jungle or they don't feel safe farming their jungle, often they'll retreat back and farm just like this camp, and then maybe the ancients in this camp. So this cuts two of those with one with a ward. Gives vision of two of those with one ward. It's going to be dropping your armor here straight away. Your ulti. Oh wow, that worked out. Drop your ulti, and then get back over here. You don't want to be chasing this Bane. And putting yourself in a dangerous position. Yeah, it's not good positioning. Now you're stuck on the other side of a TA. Wow. So yeah, you're putting yourself in bad positioning, trying to thinking you do more damage than you do, I suppose. My game's gonna crash here. That might be the end of the video. No? We're good. Sorry, I haven't restarted all day. I've left it on during work for various reasons. Needs a restart. Getting a new laptop too soon. I bought a Lenovo Y700. Which seems like a pretty cool laptop. It's i7, 16 gig of RAM, 960M, and 128 gigabyte SSD, and a 1 terabyte hard drive. So pretty cool specs for a it was 950 US. Looking forward to it. Might be able to play a bit more Division at some higher FPS, or some Dota at higher FPS with my recordings as well. Might be able to do some cool streams on that, and all recordings in good quality. Sometimes I get stutter like this on this PC. Recording at high FPS. Sorry, recording at high quality. Especially when you zoom out like this. Okay. Let's skip a bit. I think during the late game there's a little bit less stuff to talk about, especially with supports. The early game is really what I wanted to focus on in most of these replays. I think it's the most important thing to try to improve. Late game decision making is much more it's just something that you sort of learn by experience, and it's a lot more game by game. There's a few less sort of hard and fast rules to stick by. Like, it's a lot easier to teach someone the basics of a tri-lane or a safe lane laning phase, because a lot of the principles are the same, than it is to teach them how to play late game Dota, because that can be very game specific. but I think this is just a slow grind and you lose out to an anti-mage. They've got a lot more better scaling cores than you do. Well, they've got one, right? They've got like TA, Invoker, and anti-mage, where you've got the Spec and the Shadow Fiend, and the Shadow Fiend's kind of gone this like all-in like Blink Yules build rather than like a damage build, so he struggles to compete with, you know, anti-mage and TA, that sort of thing. And just Spec had a bit of a hard time because he didn't have the best lane with you. If Spec got ahead this game, he could have done really good, because Diffusal's very good against Invoker. It drains a lot of his mana, and if he goes Yules, he can purge the Yules with Diffusal, and TA as well. Like Radiance Burn is very good against her, and a lot of the heroes are squishy, so if you get a good Spec ultimate off with a Radiance, they're going to lose a lot of health, even if you don't go the Ready build. If you go the Manta Diffusal build, I think Spec is still a very good hero this game. The problem with Spec this game is he's against an anti-mage, and this is generally how anti-mage versus Spec games go, is that anti-mage just farms faster and gets more items earlier than Spec does, especially if Spec has a weak laning phase. So it's very important to get the Spec the best start you can. And these anti-mage games, you know, sometimes anti-mage will get his stuff online and he starts to just take your base, and you often can win between sort of like 30 and 40 minutes. That's why a lot of people pick anti-mage against Spec. But yeah, anyway, that looks like it's the end. Not just yet, but it will be. Thanks a lot. Hopefully you learned something, and cheers for watching, guys. I'm making a bit more content. I've started on a couple more, but I might just pump out a couple of these in the meantime to get some content on my page. I'm working on like a farming efficiency guide, picking up clips from different games, and I've done a breakdown of an EG game as well, just looking at more sort of team play stuff. But you can see that stuff coming up if you want to subscribe. Cheers. Thanks for watching.